The 1980s were a golden era for teen movies. More than just a genre, they were a cultural phenomenon that shaped a generation. At the heart of these iconic films were actresses whose unforgettable performances left a lasting impact on Hollywood and continue to be celebrated today. Join us as we revisit the magic of 80s teen movies, honor the stars who made us laugh, cry, and dream, and see how they've transformed over the years. Kelly LeBrock in Weird Science, 1985, and nowadays. Elizabeth Shue in The Karate Kid, 1984, and 2025. Deborah Foreman in Valley Girl, 1983, and 42 years later. Sherilyn Fenn in Just One of the Guys, 1985, and this is what the actress looks like in 2025. Rebecca De Mornay in Risky Business, 1983, and Rebecca in 2025. Molly Ringwald in The Breakfast Club, 1985, and 40 years later. Robin Wright in The Princess Bride, 1987. And this is what the Robin looks like. Heather Langenkamp in A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, and 41 years later. Jennifer Grey in Dirty Dancing, 1987, and Jennifer in 2024. Jamie Gertz in The Lost Boys, 1987, and nowadays. Nicolette Sheridan in The Sure Thing, 1985, and nowadays. Adrienne King in Friday the 13th, 1980, and 45 years later. Jennifer Connelly in Labyrinth, 1986, and Jennifer in 2025. Amy Stock in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 1989 and 2025. Lee Thompson in Back to the Future, 1985, and nowadays. Brooke Shields in The Blue Lagoon, 1980, and 45 years later. Jennifer Jason Leigh in Fast Times Ridgemont High in 1982, and nowadays. Amanda Wyss in Fast Times Ridgemont High, 1982, and 2025. Kelly Maroney in Fast Times Ridgemont High 1982, and Kelly in 2025. Winona Ryder in Heathers 1988, and Winona Ryder in 2025. Ally Sheedy in War Games 1983 and 2025. John Louisa Kelly in Uncle Buck 1989. And this is what the actress looks like in 2025. Jill Whitlow in Weird Science 1985. And nowadays. Suzanne Snyder in Weird Science 1985 and 2025. Ione Skye in Say Anything 1989 and 36 years later. Alexandra Paul in Christine 1983 and nowadays. Jennifer Beals in Flashdance 1983 and Jennifer in 2025. Catherine Mary Stewart in Weekend at Bernie's 1989 and 2025. Susan Ursitti in Teen Wolf 1985 and nowadays. Julia Montgomery in Revenge of the Nerds 1984 and 41 years later. Amanda Bearse in Fright Night 1985 and Amanda in 2025. Sarah Jessica Parker in Girls Just Want to Have Fun 1985 and nowadays. Diane Franklin in Better Off Dead 1985 and Diane in 2025. Cocky Hunter in Porky's 1981 and 44 years later. Kim Cattrall in Porky's 1981 and Kim Cattrall in 2025. Heather Graham in License to Drive 1988 and 37 years later. Daphne Zuniga in The Sure Thing 1985 and nowadays. Demi Moore in One Crazy Summer 1986 and in 2025. Andie MacDowell and St. Elmo's Fire, 1985. And nowadays? Laurie Singer in Footloose, 1984 and 2025. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share with your friends, and especially subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next interesting content.